The PharmaVOICE 100 recognizes 100 of the most inspiring people who are a driving force in the life sciences industry. This interview was recorded live at the 2014 DIA annual meeting in San Diego.
Congratulations on being named to the 2014 PharmaVOICE 100.
Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you on the list. I read all the nominations and I understand why your folks put you up for this honor, but I'd like to hear from you what inspiration means to you, and then to follow up, how you inspire the next generation of leaders coming up and some best practices for them.
Yeah, I think honestly no one knows the answer to that. I think that is probably the toughest question you could ever ask. All I can tell you is what I've learned growing up and what I have seen works with the people that I work with. And so it's interesting. Like when we're sitting here in the United States, everyone's used to immigration. Everyone is from somewhere else. It's a very young country. I live in Ireland today. Everyone seems to be from Ireland, right? Everyone seems to be from Italy. But when you grow up in a country like England, which is so old, it has the same waves of immigration, but it's so much older. There is an incumbent culture. And so it's interesting, when my parents came to England in the 60s, they had to fit in. And they brought with them the Indian culture of, you don't necessarily have total control over your life. It's very un-American. The Americans believe that they have control of what's going to happen to them. Indians feel like, well, what's written is written. And then suddenly they're in an alien culture. And the natural reaction is to be pretty apologetic, to try and sort of fit in. Whereas I think as I grew up in that culture, it got to a point where I thought, well, you know what? We bring something interesting here as well. Like bringing it back to the US, I think the reason the US is so exciting and has been so successful is because, you know, almost every day there is a whole new type of wave of immigration bringing new ideas and new energy. So why be apologetic for that? If you are passionate about something, then you should just go ahead and do it. So that's not a very precise answer to what inspires me, but I think that is like the syndrome, the experience that I had. So suddenly, I was sitting there at sort of 17 or 18, and I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to do this. And as long as you treat people like you want to be treated, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And you know what's interesting is the more times you do things that are a little different, the more times people actually react and go, yeah, I quite like this. I think I'm going to try that too. So I think it's just a way of living that comes from having to think about how you come across. If you were born in England and you're English, there's just an English way of doing things. If you come in as an immigrant, or as my parents did, you have to think about how you fit in, where you're going to sit in the equilibrium between their culture and the local culture. And then suddenly you think, actually, I'm just going to have a go at this. And I have seen that again and again and again in people who create disruptive innovation and therefore inspiration, because this industry needs disruptive innovation, that they had a very similar lifestyle, a life cycle. So they were doing some job, say at a big pharmaceutical company, they were doing what they were told year after year, and then by accident maybe they tried something a little different and nobody seemed to mind. So they thought, well, okay, I'm going to try that again and again, and suddenly they found that people were interested in following what they were doing, and I think that is real inspiration.
Thank you, that is fantastic. And now I know why. It's obvious why you are PharmaVOICE 100. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
The complete list, as well as in-depth information on each member of this year's PharmaVOICE 100, can be found at www.pharmavoice.com.